Trading Dallas Goedert would be a mistake. It's that simple. This would be a mistake by Howie Roseman. And that is controversial to say at this point because it is simply in Howie we trust. Any move that is questioned, you just immediately go to, well, Howie's going to figure it out, as if Howie has never once made a mistake. He's human. He makes errors. It's fine. And I think that trading Dallas Goedert would be one of those errors. Now, let me just say I'm not in love with Dallas Goedert at all. Far from it, actually. And I'll go into my reasons on why this would be a mistake. But do you remember that feeling you had when the Eagles traded C.J. Gardner-Johnson? Do you remember that? You remember that feeling of why are they doing this exactly? Seemed like C.J. was a great fit. He brought a sense of attitude to the team that was probably desperately needed. This doesn't make a ton of sense. And then what did you follow it up with? Well, Howie must know. It's Howie. Howie makes no mistakes. And maybe he's right. Maybe trading C.J. Gardner-Johnson is nothing more than a good move and a salary dump. And maybe he was, I don't know, not great in the locker room. Whatever. Maybe that move won't matter. And I think that the Vic Fangio defense is so good that you can get by without having a C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Much like I think that this offense is so good that you can get by without having a Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert is not the focal point of the Eagles offense. Not one that has, Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and if you want, you can even include Jalen Hurts with his legs. Dallas Goedert is a fourth, fifth option at times. So the offense would be able to survive without Dallas Goedert. The reason why I think this is a mistake is if you trade Dallas Goedert, and let's say you recoup some picks, which you think that they would do because they don't have a ton of holes, but you recoup some picks, you trade Dallas Goedert, he's going into the last year of his deal. They're probably not going to re-sign him, which I am a fan of that move. But you're ushering in the Grant Calcaterra era. Are you ready for the Grant Calcaterra era? Because I am not. I'm not ready for the era of ushering in a tight end who retired from football at one point because of concussions, who's a good pass catcher but can't really block much, kind of a one-trick pony. Yeah, I'm not ready for him to be my number one tight end. Now, you might go, well, they just drafted tight end in the first round, and they should. They should 100% draft a tight end. Dallas Goedert now is 2 years older than when Zach Ertz saw the Eagles draft Dallas Goedert. So this is a move that probably should have been addressed, but last year, how can you complain about the draft? You end up getting Quainion Mitchell and Cooper DeJean in rounds 1 and 2. No complaints there at all. Jalix Hunt actually looks like a player as well in round 3. So I'm not necessarily complaining about how he did with the picks, but this has been long overdue when you look at the history of the Eagles. And they did it years before, right? They did it with, Brent Selleck was a 5th-round pick, but then they ended up taking Zach Ertz when you also had Brent Selleck there to kind of have that bridge, okay, the future's coming and this is it. But the reason why it would be such a bad move for the Eagles to trade Dallas Goedert at this point is to expect a rookie tight end to make an impact in the NFL, no matter where they're drafted in the draft, is a mistake. And that sounds idiotic because we just saw Brock Bowers eclipse the 1,000-yard mark in his rookie year. But historically speaking, when you look at tight ends drafted in round 1, when you look at those guys, they don't make an impact their first year. It takes them a little bit. And I'm talking about some of the greats, some of the all-time greats. If you look at Rob Gronkowski and his rookie year, the dude had 400 yards maybe, 500 yards. It wasn't much. It wasn't like the Gronk Gronk really broke out his second year. That first year, he was okay, but he wasn't Gronk. And as I look now, his first year, he had 556 yards. Okay. Now, maybe Gronk's an outlier, you say. Maybe you go, okay, it's one guy. What about Sam Laporta? Sam Laporta had a great rookie year, right? In touchdowns, he did. Sure. Red zone threat, Sam Laporta was phenomenal. 889 yards his rookie year. You take that all day because that is actually one of the better rookie years. And maybe the NFL is changing. Like maybe this argument that I'm having is dumb because of the fact that teams are using their rookie tight ends differently than they have previous seasons. So by looking at my argument, Sam Laporta and Brock Bowers dispel it. Rob Gronkowski was over a decade ago, fine. Let's look at some other guys. All right, TJ Hawkinson, Optimus Prime, drafted top 10. What did he do his rookie year? 367 yards. 367 yards for a top 10 pick. TJ Hawkinson's one of the better pass-catching tight ends in the NFL. Okay. Let's look at here Dallas Goedert. Now keep in mind they had a guy. They had some Ertz guy. What did Dallas Goedert do his rookie year? 334. What about Dalton Kincaid? Dalton Kincaid his rookie year, same thing. First round pick by Dalton Kincaid. What did he do his rookie year? 673 yards. Like that's a really good rookie year for a rookie tight end. That's about as best as you can expect, I think. A Dalton Kincaid 670-ish yards year. But that isn't incredible. And if you're drafting a guy in the first round, you're expecting more of an impact. So my point is, if you end up trading Dallas Goedert and you go into the year with a Grant Calcaterra / rookie tight end combo, I'm not really looking at that as making much of an impact. I don't have a ton of faith in Grant Calcaterra, and rookie tight ends fail a lot of times to get on the field immediately just because of their blocking ability. A lot of times, these guys that are looked at as pass-catching tight ends, they'll get on the field just because they can catch a ball, but they also have to work a lot on their blocking at the NFL level, and that kind of hinders their progression because they spend a lot of their time in their rookie year working on the blocking aspect and not working on route running and catching the ball and all that. So when I look at the Eagles, is trading a Dallas Goedert the end of the world? No, it's not. I said at the beginning, I'm not a big Dallas Goedert fan. And the reason why I'm not a big Dallas Goedert fan is just simply he's never healthy. Ever. What was the one thing we always said about Zach Ertz? The one criticism that everybody said about Zach Ertz. No yak Zach. That's it. Zach Ertz would catch a lot of balls. He would catch a lot of balls for a lot of yards, but he would fight for nothing. He would rarely get upfield. He would rarely look to initiate contact. He basically would catch the ball and get down right away. Whereas Dallas Goedert initiates contact. He will lower his shoulder. He will stiff arm. He wants to embarrass guys. He wants to run them over. And that is great. And you know what that leads to? Injuries. And that is why when you look at Dallas Goedert, last year, 10 games. The year before that, 14. The year before that, 12. The year before that, 15, 11, 15. He only played a full season in his rookie season. And every other year, he has dealt with injuries. So I am fine with getting a replacement in line for when his contract is up, you can move on. But I am not fine with simply moving on from him for the sake of moving on. Are you planning to do what with that money? You move on from Dallas Goedert. What are you planning to do this year with that savings? Where are you putting it? I would like to know. Or are you simply just moving on because, hey, we can get more draft picks? Because you're going to get draft picks no matter what, the compensatory picks, when he moves on anyway. So I don't really understand the logic of let's putting him on the block, because it feels like to me you're putting Dallas Goedert on the block for the sake of putting him on the block. I want a replacement for Dallas Goedert, but I don't want it this year. Because this year means you are going into the season with Grant Calcaterra and some rookie. And it's not exactly the best rookie tight end draft in the world. So I want the guy to learn, and I want the guy to ease into it. But I want the guy to ease into it because you already have Dallas Goedert there. Dallas Goedert, for all of his credit of playing hard, I think it's going to end up costing him years off his NFL career because Zach Ertz is still doing it, even with the title No Yak Zach. Well, he's still doing it because he didn't initiate all this contact. His body isn't what it was, but he's still able to get the job done because of the fact that he was able to protect his body in key moments. Dallas Goedert doesn't do that. He fights for every yard, and that's great. It also leads to 10 games. 12 games, missing time. So while the Eagles absolutely need to have a contingency plan in place, and they absolutely need to draft a tight end in rounds 1 or 2, what they don't need to do is trade this dude. Because their other option is not great.